What's happening, guys? Jason Cardamone here with the DS Domination Genesis 90-day case study. It's such a mouthful, I can't remember what we're even doing here. So, guys, we're here at day 13. It is June 14th of 2014, and I'm feeling pretty good today. I always feel good every day, but I mean specifically around the case study with what's happening. I do not have amazing results to post in these first, almost 2 weeks here. And I'm okay with that. There's the side of me that's like, dude, you should have already made some money. And there's a really good chance I could have already made money. There's another side of me stepping back and kind of looking at the bigger picture and realizing where we're really at. And it's we're going to talk about that, kind of the bigger picture, and really, I would say the last 2 days. I don't know when I did my last video. I think it was 2 days ago. I'm pretty sure. These past 2 days they've been absolutely hectic. They have been absolutely chaotic is the word I wanted, not hectic. And so I'll explain to you guys what they've looked like. So, and I mean on a business sense, as far as family goes, things have actually been really awesome. Kind of, that's actually not true. So, okay, let me take back, I just lied to you guys. Everything's been chaotic now that I'm piecing everything together and looking back at what we've been doing. So, we did go swimming, I think it was 2 days ago. So that was a goal for that day. I said we were gonna go at 9 a.m. or whatever. We went by like 10 a.m. or something like that. So that went awesome, and it was cool. All of us hanging out. The next day, so I just realized that's maybe where my daughter's rash came from. She's broken out all over the place. Actually, you guys are gonna think this is funny, but this is how chaotic it's been. I have to remember when I get done with this video to go tell my wife, chlorine. Maybe my daughter had a reaction to the chlorine. There's a lot of kids. Anyway, we had to take her to the doctor, and she was breaking out in hives everywhere. Like she was having a reaction, and we couldn't figure out what it was to. So anyway, I'm gonna bring that up to her. So that's one thing. My wife had to go to the doctor as well. And she's been going a lot. That's not out of the ordinary, but it is like in the middle of, like unplanned doctor visits thrown at you in the middle of a big business push like this. It's tricky to try to balance everything. So, business, let's talk about business-wise. So, and the family's doing great, guys. Everything's good. Income-wise, I didn't even put this on here. One of our things here, I don't even know where to write this. I'm gonna put it down here, bank update. Bank update. So I'll cover this right now with you guys. So, we survived up until right now. We just had a check come in yesterday for like $700, somewhere around $700, and it's supposed to come with a few other checks that typically come all at the same time. So it is it's the 14th, it's Saturday. The money went in yesterday, and somehow we survived the entire last week. I do believe there's a couple small, one or maybe two small direct deposits. And by small, I mean like under 500. Maybe that's large to you. That I call that small. One of them came in for like 120 or 180 bucks. Just little things. And so guys, let me explain some of the financial things. So one of the big things we had here was this cash flow issue, right? Like, really specifically being like crazy low on cash up until the middle of June, where I knew, basically moving forward, we're gonna be okay for a long time to come. As long as I don't overly invest into FBA products. And so I'm sharing this with you guys to let you know, like, these are the kind of things, you know, you deal with as an entrepreneur. And I'll say they stem from not properly managing our money in the first place. Now, I've been really good for the last like year. Every dollar we get, I've put 10% into tithing, 10% into savings, 10% into investing, and we've paid bills off 70% of our income, typically. Now, we've had a significant amount of medical bills, and I mean like the kind of medical stuff where some of the stuff you can put off and put on payment plans and like really delay and stuff. Some of it's like, you have to pay it right now. Give me $1,000, give me $500, give me $800, give me $100, and all of you know, and that's just medical. I'm sure there's other things I'm not even thinking of right now, but really medical wise, in the past like year and a half, 2 years or so, we've had significant expenses there. And we just had a good insight into something that might be happening with my wife's health, and I'm not going to go into details here, not now. I'll probably tell you guys later if things are confirmed, but it's nothing life-threatening, you know, unless we let it go on for years and years. But no cancer, not like, don't even freak out. It's no big deal. It's like one of those shows you watch on TV and you can't figure out what's going on with them, and then they find out there's some rare African beetle that crawled in their ear and planted, you know, whatever. Just, you know, those crazy like stories. Maybe you don't know them. My wife watches those like all the time. She loves them. So it's kind of something weird. It's not a bug or anything, but it's definitely a super abnormal thing that nobody's been able to track down for years now. So we have a good hint at what might be happening. So now we have another, basically, more than $1,000 in tests. We're basically going to run those in the next couple of weeks here. And then right behind that is she needs a scope, which is like, I think it's like $2,000 or $3,000, I think. And then after that would be a surgery of multi-thousands, if everything, you know, leads to one another. So anyway, it's really cool. We're seeing like, dude, maybe we find out like what the heck's going on finally, because we've like paid tens of thousands of dollars in the last like year or two on testing and figuring things out and all kinds of crazy stuff. So anyway, I'm not, you know, I take responsibility for all that. We didn't have the proper like full-blown insurance to back up all that, and so maybe instead of like whatever $50,000 or whatever we paid last year, maybe it would have only been 10 or 20. I mean, I don't know all the and then you balance out of like, oh well, the insurance costs like $1,000 a month, so there's like 12 grand a year going out. So it's a balance of all that, and we have a version of insurance right now, but it doesn't cover like crazy stuff like that. So anyway, because we constantly got in situations, and really for a long time now, you know, our income's been decent up till this past January when I switched companies and really focused to DS Domination. And that's not a knock on this company. That was that the company I was coming from, we were getting paid really well, but my team was struggling. So I switched over to DS Domination because I saw something where I believed the team could thrive. And I knew immediately, I saw people starting to make money, and here we are, you know, the vast majority of every person on my team is actually in profit. So we just had, I believe, our biggest payday ever because of DS Domination in a single, like, basically biggest 24-hour payday ever. It was extremely close to 5 figures in a single day. I actually don't know the exact number. I was just looking at somewhere between like 7,000 and 11,000 ranges somewhere. Which, by the way, did I put this right here? I need to update our income. I just went to go look to try to figure out if it was our biggest payday ever. And I was like, well, was it even our biggest amount to come from like, you know, a single stream of income and all this stuff? And so I'm looking back through like all our stuff, and I realized I haven't updated our income in my special spreadsheet since like March sometime of this year, or maybe I did March and I didn't do April. So I have a few months I need to catch up on with that. And that's going to be cool because it'll give me a good, you know, picture of what we're doing this year so far. Cash flow-wise though, a lot of the recent pay was like one-time bonuses, not residual income, but the residual has been growing and growing because people are having so much success and they're staying around. And so that's on the network marketing side, and that's not where I'm focused. We're focused on Genesis FBA. So I just wanted to cover that with you guys. So I'll be honest, I can't believe we survived. Actually, I'll even show you guys this. I expected to avoid the $35 penalties we have to pay at our bank. I suspected I was going to have to pay this $100 bill sitting in my wallet right here. And as you can see, let me cover up any credit card info. The bill is still sitting there. And I didn't give this to my wife yet. I still have all the 20s and 5s and everything. And I think I still, yeah, single 100 here. So here's one thing that I'm gonna do immediately is, so as you guys will see, there's a single 100 here, and then there's like, I don't know, I probably have like 250 bucks right here. So I will be replenishing my other 100. So I will have 4 $100 bills. That's my current standard of carrying around. And I talked about this in another video, so in case you missed this, I learned it from Tony Robbins, and it's basically every time you look down, you know, whether you're paying for something or whatever, you see, even if your peripheral vision sees the $100 bill, it's just a constant reminder that I am wealthy, we have money. We always have tons of money. Even if in your bank account is sitting $23, which is what we had somewhere in the past week, the lowest we've ever had. That's between 5 or 6 different accounts just in the one bank account, and it's not including our other business accounts, but those had exactly enough to cover like monthly recurring fees taken out of them. Like in one of them we have $130 per month that comes out, and it had $131. Actually, I think $133 now, because I realized they do a $2 charge every month because we're not doing enough volume or some weird thing. So anyway, there was no, it was like exactly enough to cover weird cash flows that I don't actively manage. That's changing, but anyway, the main bank account, we more or less had 23 bucks sitting in our bank. And it's never been that low, ever. It's never been that low for like, since I filed bankruptcy 9 years ago. And so that was very interesting. But it also, you know, I'm sitting here, I had more cash on me than we had in our bank, actually. And I knew we would get through things. I thought for sure I'd have to take some of that cash I have and get it in the bank to make sure we don't pay any $35 fees. And we squeaked by on several different accounts so many times, it was crazy. We have I don't need to show you, you know what a credit card looks like. So we have a credit card through our bank that it had like $380 credit on it. And I've probably told you guys before, we're completely debt free. We are, except for that credit card, which I always forget about. It had like $380 available. And we had there was a medical thing, we had to pay 80 bucks for some I don't even know, I lose track of all the tests and stuff. So my wife had some tests, and basically we had to get a few groceries, stuff like that, and we were putting that stuff on that card. And my wife didn't, I had forgot to tell my wife, this was like Wednesday or Thursday, that, okay, the cards, it's right, you know, it's basically, there's a couple bucks left, we got to stop using this card. And my mom, my assistant, knew, and I forgot to tell my wife, and that was like Tuesday or Wednesday this past week. So, you know, that was a few days ago, at least 3 or 4 days ago. And my wife went out there, and she was, and it wasn't a big deal, but there was like, you know, she'll go and grab like a Coke for like $1 or $2, you know, like, here's $1 on our card, give me a soft drink or whatever. And there's a couple other things she had to get at the store, and because I didn't communicate, you need to go back to our normal debit cards, the credit card actually went over, and thank God I actually saw it in time before things were posted fully, or I'm sure the credit card, not only do they have probably more than $35 per charge it goes over, but then they like your credit, the rate goes way up because you went over limit and stuff. So I was able to shuffle money around and cover that at the same time as keeping money in our bank. And we have never squeaked through this many times, this many days in a row, like ever. Like it was crazy, but I'm sharing this with you guys because that's the kind of stuff you do, and it's never, it wasn't like this huge like, oh, we have, I knew we have money coming and I knew I was gonna create it. I had no idea we were gonna have the biggest payday of our life the same week we have the lowest amount of money ever in our bank account. And by the way, that biggest payday officially, I believe it happened yesterday, which was Friday the 13th, with the full moon, like one of the first times. Well, that's my wife told me. I haven't verified all that. I do know it was Friday the 13th. I do know my name is Jason. So anyway, all these ironic things. But I didn't know we were going to have the biggest payday of our life as I'm sitting there with no money in our bank. So I'm sharing this with you guys just to let you know, like we have had times where I've had to check the bank, by 9 p.m. for, a couple days in a row or so, but not where there was this many charges floating around where like you pay $1 for something, like that was on the credit card. But typically what would happen is if we're over on a certain account and my wife would like buy $1, and this happened, several tiny little charges where you pay like $1 for something on a debit card and it goes over your limit. And if you don't have money in there by the cutoff for the bank time or whatever, that for each charge it goes over, you get charged $35. So the worst month ever, this was back when my books were a mess and I wasn't totally on top of everything. I believe the worst month we paid $450 in over fees. So basically what that means is like divide 450 by 35. It's obviously more than 10 times. It's like 13 times that month we would do a fee, pay for something, and it would go over. So it's not so bad if you like pay here, here's $250 charge that pays for the, utilities or whatever, whatever it is. And then a $35 charge, not too bad, because it's just like, 10, 20%. What kills me and just like freaks me out, you go pay it, like my wife buys a $1 soft drink and we get a $35 charge on that. So now we pay $36 for a little styrofoam thing that's not even healthy for you in the first place. So those ones kill me, and we had several threatening ones this whole past week. So anyway, we got through that. We got 700 in. There will probably be some larger checks today in our mail, and if not today, they'll definitely be by Monday. We'll get them in the bank. Because right now it's the weekend, we have till Monday at 9 p.m. to get money in some accounts. So basically, we can start spending a little money here. Now, we're not going to go crazy, but there's a shopping trip we need to, like groceries. So we'll do probably some of that in the next couple days or so. Anyway, I had no intentions to even talk into that. I wanted to share that. So now I'm going to go fast through all this. I guess I'm going to work backwards apparently. Workouts. My workouts have been extremely inconsistent this past week, very chaotic. Everything's been very chaotic. And so right when I turn off this camera, I will get this video immediately downloading into my computer, and I'm gone and I'm going on a bike ride. Now it's cool, the timing was just, we've talked about this, how just amazing blessings are happening and how everything's just lining up in perfectly. Biggest payday ever. Dude, sweet, we need a bunch of money to reinvest and buy all these FBA products. We didn't charge a single $35 over fee. Dude, sweet, that preserves more of our cash sitting around. Dude, you just trained for 6 months for a race that happened about 3 weeks ago. And now these have been, 2 really easy weeks of workouts, and then this week was really, moderately easy as well. Actually, easy as well. And so it's a good time to be missing workouts, and part of me knew that, guys. So part of me is like, it's no big deal. I'm not like in a main training cycle or anything. But over the next couple weeks, we're ramping up, and within about 3 weeks from now, so somewhere, if I remember talking with my running coach, somewhere around the beginning of July, definitely by the middle of July, we're back into full training. And so I need to get more consistent because that's something, see, a big part of my energy, a part of my day comes from my running and my workout. And whether I'm running or doing whatever, it always comes from my training, and so my physical training. So whether I'm going to the gym, I'm out on a bike ride, I'm out on a run, I'm swimming. Swimming's a little different because I can't listen to personal development. Wherever it is, I have these beautiful things. I'm plugged in and I'm always learning, always. And so, you know, part of it, I'm doing something called the Hour of Power from Tony Robbins. Part of it is when I'm done with the beginnings of that and in the middle of the workouts, I'm listening to books on tape. Or I guess technically that's book on MP3. So that, I always do it. So basically that's the deal. And when I miss workouts, I miss some of pouring in. And if you're not constantly pouring in positive information, what comes out? Garbage in, garbage out. Positive stuff in, positive stuff out. So it hasn't really fazed me too much in these past few weeks where I've been more inconsistent with putting stuff in and more inconsistent with workouts. Because for me, I've really tied those together. It's just how my life has worked. And so it hasn't fazed me too much because I've been so busy, but I know that if I go much longer at all of a sudden I really start developing negative thought patterns, and it's just this big snowball thing. So, well, you know, I've been doing this for years and years, so I have such a database of positive information and knowing stuff that, you know, it's just a matter of accessing some of that. And there's certain habits I have now that will really never change. So I'm always growing, but if you're not growing, you're dying. So when I'm not pouring new stuff in, am I really growing? Kind of, as far as practicing things, I'm growing, but putting new stuff in, I'm not growing. I will tell you what I've been pouring in is information around Amazon and drop shipping and really economies. I don't mean like, I'm talking about like the whole process of like a product being made and being sold out in the world somewhere, whether it's through Amazon or eBay or any other way in the whole world. I've really been mastering that whole process and learning tons about it, and it's really cool. So anyway, these must get more consistent again. And I have my first longer workout, like a slow jog tomorrow of like 55 to 65 minutes. So that's the longest amount of time I've done really in more than a month now. Because right before my big race, Memorial Day or whatever, it was, you know, I didn't do much. I didn't have any hour workouts that week. It was real light stuff leading into that big race. So anyway, those need to get way more consistent. So I already told you I need to update my income. The other things to do, I need to get my stuff on Craigslist. Our garage is still full. Not as full, and I've had more hits lately. I've noticed on Craigslist when you renew an ad and it pops to the top, you get like all this input coming in. So I need to get the few other things we have listed, and I either need to sell them on eBay or Craigslist or dump them. That's it, like all of it. So we really need, I want to get that garage freed up. So anyway, those are definitely things I need to do. Cash flow. And this is actually cash and cash flow. So, you know, cash flow is how much money you have, how much more money you have or less money you have over your expenses. So if your expenses are this much of stuff, you know, if you have a positive cash flow, you're making this much every month and you pay all your stuff, you have this much extra. If you have a negative cash flow, your bills are this much, you make this much, but you're still missing some, so you're going in a little bit of debt. And if you have credit, to go get credit cards, and if you even can go into debt. I know a lot of people that they can't get credit cards or things because they have crazy past, especially more recent bankruptcies. You know, we're able to get credit and things now, even though the bankruptcy was 9 years ago. Don't have stellar perfect credit, but I don't really care. I haven't really tried to get perfect credit because I don't really have a lot of interest for too much credit lately. I probably will as we get into FBA more, so now I'm looking back like, man, maybe I should have been building things better all these years. But, so, cash flow. Oh, I was like, why the heck is Monopoly there? So Monopoly is doing drop shipping on Amazon. So huge win here. Have several items, well, like 3 items listed over there by now. Got really excited this morning. I was looking through stuff and I saw us listed down in the other sellers. So that was, and actually for you guys, it would be down here on Amazon. When you go to buy something and then it says other sellers down here, we show up in there now, which is cool. I mean, you're rarely gonna ever make a sale, but at least we're there now. And eventually, you know, getting what's called the buy box up here, that's our eventual goal. Anyway, just had that happen, that's cool. And we're gonna continue growing that to generate cash flow. Cash flow, what that will, basically that's just gonna generate more and more income coming in. I'm writing outsourcer right here. So basically I now have an outsourcer all trained up and they are out finding items like they've already found around 10 items in the past few days, even while learning and getting trained and stuff. And about half the items were actually bad ones coming from sources we don't want to use and stuff, but it's a really awesome learning experience. And so, you know, they have tons more to learn, but especially finding really good items that we can list on Amazon. So that part of the business is now somewhat automated. I need to get another outsourcer doing the same thing so we can get a whole bunch of listings. I will say the listing process of putting something on there, which getting an item listed in your Amazon account, it is like the most simple process and it is so fast. You can literally do it in about 10 seconds when you have the item that you want to list. And it is so much more fun than trying to list something over on eBay. So it's kind of like graduating up. You learn all this stuff on eBay step by step and you get to Monopoly and Genesis and you're doing stuff on eBay. A lot of it is easier in a lot of ways. So I love that. Monopoly will generate some consistent sales. I'm actually gonna list on eBay some bigger sales items for twofold. Number one, to increase our limits so that we'll list a bunch of new items and max out our limits, then we'll call in and say, hey, we need higher limits. We'll keep doing that every month up until, you know, it takes too long to list new items. Then I'll hire somebody and do it for us. And the way that I list items, I don't just blindly list things. I do research and I find things that we have a good chance to make an awesome profit on. So by listing these larger items, we're likely, I think our largest eBay sales so far, I know we've had them in the low 200s. I think we've probably sold stuff somewhere in the 300 range. So I'm gonna start listing things in the like 300 and up, 1,000 and up, you know, definitely above 300 range, where we build in margins where you make one of these sales, $500, maybe you have to source it for like 300 or 250, or it depends on the item, but it's instantly like 50, 100 bucks, 150, 200 bucks like that. And so that'll be a cool way both to stretch our limits up, but also to make some real simple cash. And the cash is immediately accessible because we're out of PayPal jail. You know, we get our money instantly because we've done well enough on the eBay side of things. So that's the deal with that. So those are both ways to create both steady cash flow, which is what Monopoly will achieve, and the eBay stuff will be like hits here and there. It probably won't be consistent, but some of that stuff might sell once a month or twice a month, you know, bigger hits like that. So that's the deal. Now these last two, so Genesis Easy and Genesis US. I want to kind of report where we're at. I will tell you, I said this week was really chaotic. Put in a ton of time into Genesis Easy, and I made it really not easy, but it was me getting in my own way of all this. So basically, I spent ridiculous amounts of time trying to use the software, and this isn't DS Domination software, this is third-party software that you use to scan the items in the stores, the little barcodes. Trying to get that software to automatically get these items and get them loaded up for me. It turned out to be a certifiable nightmare, as Sylvester Stallone would say in Demolition Man, talking about Wesley Snipes. So it was a certifiable nightmare kind of a week, because if you look back on these videos, we were ready to sell this stuff like more than a week ago, at least 7 days ago, and it's all sitting here down in my office here. The very, very awesome news I'm super happy to report is that I found out a couple things. Number one, you don't have to label all your own items, and you don't even have to get them in special bags and all the special stuff you have to do with certain items. And I'm not going to go into details, but I basically really mastered a lot of Amazon FBA stuff. When you send your stuff in, I've really mastered a lot of that process this week and learned so much that I'm not going to have to go through all that pain really ever again. So there's a couple solutions. Number one is you just do it all yourself. And I had some people saying, mentoring me, saying, you don't ever let Amazon do it. It's such a ripoff. They charge you 20 cents per label and 50 cents to like package items and all this kind of stuff. For me, I'm like, dude, I'll gladly pay Amazon 70 cents to take care of this junk, so I don't have to go make sure I have the right printer and go buy the right labels and all. And that stuff I'll do when I'm more in business around local stuff, but we're still trying to sort out, how much do we even want to do local FBA? And there are some real good reasons why you really want to get Genesis, and not just sit there in Monopoly and some other things. And I'm not going to go into that in this video either. I'm sure that will come out in the coming days or weeks here for you guys. So on the easy side, here's the great news. So I found out Amazon can do everything for you. I just found this out like late yesterday. After spending the entire day again, I've probably literally spent at least 3 full business days this week learning Amazon FBA and getting rid of those damn boxes that are going to be shipped out to Amazon. Those have taken a huge amount of my week, and so and I've reported back to my group and shared with them some of the stuff I'm finding. Really, so nobody else has to waste days like that. They can waste a grand total of like 10 seconds to read my post and just like do some stuff. So what I'm going to do on this first order is basically have Amazon do everything. So I'm telling them what I'm going to send in. I'm telling them, okay, you guys need to do this, and print labels for everything. And they're going to say, okay, that's going to cost you a grand total of like 20 bucks or 30 bucks or whatever. I think I ran the numbers. It was like, I actually don't remember. But it's somewhere around $30-ish. We're sending in 300 items, or sorry, $300 or so worth of items. So knowing all that stuff, so I'm looking back on it, I'm like, dude, it's only really, on this first round, it's only costing us like 10% per item. Now in the long run, I don't want to sit there and keep paying 10% out of pocket when we can do it ourselves for like a fraction of 1% or hire somebody to do it. But I just need to get this stuff there, and I need to make some sales on Amazon, because that's going to build momentum. I don't care about nickel and diamond right now. If we start to really do a lot of local stuff, that's when we'll start to nickel and dime. By the way, the kind of bags you have to get and everything, it's like $100, $200 worth of investment just to get one size of the right kind of poly bags. And so to get labels, you're looking at like, and you can get labels locally at Office Depot and stuff. So anyway, learn tons about that. Ready to ship that order in. That is going out on Monday for sure. So actually, I just realized what I'll do is complete the rest of that. Everything's loaded into Amazon's system, which I've spent days on doing, trying to get it through the scanner software up into their system. I was like, forget it, dude. Let's just go directly through Amazon. And some people in my group already told me, they're like, I just went around it and went directly in there. I was convinced I could save some time by learning how to do it through the software. What I learned was, get the stuff in the software, which gives you the ASINs, the Amazon ASIN codes. Grab the ASIN, throw it into the Amazon directly in their back office, and just click the quantity, the price, hit save or whatever, and basically you're ready to go. And then you do that for all your items. You say, okay, Amazon, here's the deal with all this order, and then they'll tell you, okay, put this, and this item in this box, put these items in this box, these items in this box. Maybe you'll have more than 3 boxes, and great. Seal up the boxes, put labels on them. Labels as far as like, here, print out this label. Okay, print, stick it on, stick it on, stick it on, send the stuff off. So that's what we'll be doing Monday. I'll actually be printing everything today. Let me actually make a note on that. Print, Amazon, labels. And I know how to print the labels for individual items as well. Not even gonna mess with that right now. I am purposely gonna pay Amazon the 20 cents per item we're sending in to do it on their end. So, and again, won't do that forever. But yesterday I was pretty much, here's a thought that crossed my mind. If I actually measured it, probably 50 or 100 times. We're never doing local Genesis easy stuff again. We're never gonna find things locally and just send them off to Amazon. But then, you know, and right shortly after that, each time, or at least probably most of those times, I'd step back and say, yeah, but remember, you're in the middle of the learning phase of this process. You haven't done this into Amazon before. Look at how much easier it's gonna be next time. And that's completely true. Next time, I find good deals in stores or even on Amazon to get them shipped to our house and then send it back into FBA, which I've been learning some of those tricks in the past less than 24 hours. I've started to learn those in the past 16 hours. It's amazing what you can learn sitting on the phone asking a simple question in a Facebook group and having really experienced people come back and tell you what they do. Like, dude, this is genius. So anyway, I'm sure we'll do a little more of this. It's not going to be a major focus because there's not big money there, and there's a nice little low 6-figure, 100K a year when you build it up and stuff like that. I don't want to sit there driving around local stores and doing all that stuff for just $100,000 a year. Now, I know that probably sounds crazy to most people. You probably think I'm crazy by saying that. Guys, what's the goal here? The goal is $100,000 per month income. That's not sales, that's profits, that's income. $100,000 a month in the next 12 months. I am not going to get there by just driving around local stores and finding deals. It's not going to happen. I am going to get there by really diving into sourcing from US stores and sourcing from China, which is Genesis Traditional. And so that's really where I started off spending a little time, especially around traditional stuff, learning it as I went through the training. And really over the past probably 10 days or so, or whenever I got through the training, I don't remember the exact days, but 7 to 10 days now, I've been completely buried in all the easy stuff, in getting Monopoly and everything sorted out with outsources and all that kind of stuff. And that's probably where the majority of my time has gone in the past week. And so that's okay, but I only have like 12 weeks in this 90-day case study. And so the way I look at it, basically about 10% of my time has gone into getting Monopoly up and going and getting some of the easy stuff sorted out. So now looking at that, now I can put a small amount of my time per week if I want to do some additional easy stuff. Now it's really going to be easy now that I've learned all the ropes up front. And I got to teach the team a bunch of lessons, and other people in the team that knew some of this stuff, we really pulled some info out of them. So it's really cool, or they didn't pull anything. I asked certain questions and people came out and volunteered and like answered things with a very experienced background. So that's really cool. Now our whole team is really learning some good stuff. So So now this gets really easy moving forward, where I can put a small percentage of time in and make income coming in. That's sweet. US, I really need to dive into this because it's a really good springboard into doing larger orders from China. And I am not right now, even though we have a lot of cash on the way to our home right now, a lot, like 5 figures, that I don't want to just go take like $2,000 of that and chuck it over to China and hope everything works out good. What I am going to do, I am interested in taking $2,000 of that and chucking it to multiple items to source here in the US and see what I can get rocking and rolling. And maybe my margins won't be as good as if I were to source from China and get a lower price per item, but let me go mess it up. Let me go source like 5, 10, 20 items from US places. Whatever needs to send to me, whatever can go directly into Amazon, figure out labeling and branding and all this stuff and get the process down. And let's figure out what some of these things that are going to be hot. By the way, I do need to, as I'm doing this, I need to start to put some, a little bit of tracking on some of the things that I did. I found 3 items initially that I wanted to go track down and find out more about their sales in the next few months here. So, and once I know that, then I can know whether I want to go after those markets or not. It only costs like $3 a month or something per item. So I need to get those items going. Actually, someone I know is already doing 10 items they're tracking. So that's only $30 a month. I really need to get that process underway. That's not gonna happen today, but it is. I'm gonna make a note here. I'm gonna do this. Under US, do more research. And I'm going to break that down into 2 subparts. US, I'm just going to say China, because it's only a 5-letter word instead of traditional, which is 11 letters, by the way, and I'm not going to tell you how I know that. But I have this crazy OCD kind of brain that knows how many letters there are words. So, US and China here. So I need to do more research on those. That is absolutely an income producing activity. And as I find out things, especially around the US items where I can do these little case studies, where I say, and we're in a case study, what I mean is like little tests, little market tests, where I send out, I throw a dozen items up there on FBA and see how they sell, or 50 or 100. Not 1,000, not something crazy, but if I can throw 100 items over to FBA and I get the right pricing on them, I'm gonna do that all day long. And because when the margins are there, then I start to learn, well, what does it take to, sell some of these and stuff like that. And I have some really amazing insights around that. I've really learned a lot in the past week, especially the last 13 days, so today is 13, the last 12 days, I have learned so much about Amazon FBA. I would be willing to bet, I think my desk is a little crooked, I need to fix that. But I would be willing to bet that what I've just done in the past, and this isn't, what I've just done in the past 12 days is probably more than the average FBA person does in like 2 months. Now, it's not me, guys. I'm not like, oh, but Jason, you just like, you're so smart, you learn things quick. It's not about anything to do with any of that stuff. Nothing to do with it. It has to do with a very focused effort and knowing what my goals are, knowing a new $10,000 a month coming in by, August 30th. I'm already basically 2 weeks out of 12 are gone. I have 10 weeks to create a brand new 5-figure monthly income. And so part of that, the real learning intense parts of things, they're pretty much behind me. And if you look at it, is at 20%. 2 weeks out of 12 is really close to 20%. So you know, a lot of things in life revolve around the 80-20 rule, Pareto's law, Pareto's principle. And so it's really interesting. What I would say is a lot of people, that 20% of education and 80% massive action, I'd say a lot of people would lean towards more action early on. And when they're not as educated on what the heck they're doing, they make a lot more mistakes. I've actually been taking tons of action. Obviously, you guys have been, especially if you've been watching, just go watch some of the previous days. You'll see I'm not messing around. I mean, I haven't slept past 5-something a.m. like way before these 13 days. The few weeks prior, leading up to this, just because there's so much to learn, there's so much to do, and so much action to take. And so some of the actions have been a little misguided when I'm still learning out. You know, I'm taking action on, let's get this order out the door, and I just keep doing the wrong thing over and over and over. Now I have the right amount of education. I learned enough through the School of Hard Knocks and mix those two together, and now I'm like, dude, now I know how to go source local items and get them out the door like that day. And so not 7 or 8, 9 days later. So that's really cool. I've been through all the training in Genesis. That took me, I don't know, probably 2 or 3 days total to go through it all. And not full days, but over the course of like 2 to 3 days. Have massive notes on that. I can reference anything I need to know. I go right to the notes. The lessons I had to learn about the easy stuff, they weren't covered in the training because it didn't need to, you know, there's maybe a few details that could be in there, you know, looking back on things, but it gave me the main guidance to really get started. And now I have this knowledge internally, both inside me as well as inside my company, because my mom knows a bunch of this. And eventually, a bunch of my other employees know a bunch of this stuff. And pretty soon now the company is going strong. And now the Jason can be like, get right out of the picture, and all you do is see my shadow. I'm just a shadow floating around, and the thing's running without me. So I think that's all I got to say about that, as Forrest Gump would so kindly lend that saying to me. So this is really, this is the stuff I'm gonna start hammering out today, guys. I'm actually super excited to go start. I haven't even looked at any of the US companies on my own. I am extremely excited for that. So that could easily end up bumping some of these things out because I'm so pumped up for it. But some of these are things I just gotta get it done. Like the income thing, I'm not gonna love doing it, but I don't hate it either, because all I'm doing is looking for income, putting them in the right cells in my spreadsheet, and then I get to see like, oh, dude, cool, look at this, look at what I did here. Yeah, I can compare to the last, real quickly see things that will give me even more momentum. And it's important to know where the heck I'm at. Like we said earlier on, I have to know all my cash flows and everything, which that's something I still haven't done, and I'm not gonna commit to doing that right now. Because I just know we have way more money on the way than our bills, and I don't really care the exact amount right now. I might care in a few days. I might care if we go to start placing some bigger orders here. I don't care today, so I'm not going to worry about that detail of, well, exactly how much to the nearest dollar or nearest penny, which I will know when I do this, but to the nearest penny, how much exactly extra money am I going to have over the next 60 days so that I know exactly how much I can invest in an FBA. I don't care about that right now. I will care about that in the next week or so as I'm finding out, you know, how much stuff can I go buy. Some of it is go buy some stuff, don't spend too many thousands of dollars, and we have plenty of money left over, and let's learn about what happens as we get this stuff. Let's bring some in-house, let's label it, and then ship it off to Amazon. Let's get some of the companies to label it and do this stuff for us and then send it into Amazon, or send us a sample, we check it out, then send everything else into FBA. So really, I've never done that stuff, so now I get to go do all that, and that's really where I want to focus a lot of this next week towards, as well as I want to focus a tiny bit into Monopoly and getting things listed on Amazon. But really, like I believe I said, the whole goal with that is to outsource basically that entire business from the start. And so I need to do a little bit of it myself so I know exactly what my outsourcers and my employees are up against. Soon as I know that, which takes, not tons of time, not days at a time, learn it, learn the basics, pass it on, get it outsourced, boom, and it's done. And that, I'm really excited to grow a business like that. I'm really excited to pay people, money that will change their life, that they really need, to pay them for a service that I really need, that I don't have the time to do right now. And what we're gonna end up with is this amazing Amazon business here. We already have an amazing business. I almost have my company logo done. Just submitted the job in that for today, and now I just have to choose. I'm gonna have a couple different people go for it, and I'm just gonna see what they turn out. And maybe I'll change my logo a little bit over the next few months or year or so here, but I want to get one started out instead of just a name in the Amazon store. Like, I think amateurs have just a name. A lot of professional companies, they have like a logo. It's called your seller logo, I think. So anyway, let me actually write that. I need to get the seller logo. Choose outsourcer, I'll put. Because I've already submitted this job, I've already done everything. All I have to do is basically hire a few people for that, tell them to go to work and tell them what we're looking for. And then it's process, a little communication, next thing you know, they've done the graphics. In my past, now I've been doing this for like a few years where I outsource all kinds of stuff like this. But 6-7 years ago, I would be doing this logo on my own, and I would easily spend days on it because I'm a perfectionist and I want things to look good and professional, not just there's a lot of junky logos I'm seeing on Amazon, and so I can easily sink in 20, 30, 40 hours or 100 hours into doing a logo this next week. And I know those numbers because I've done it before. Dude, I spent 40 hours just changing the darn colors on this one graphic. Now, it was a very important graphic, but it's something somebody else could have done. And 40 hours of my time, when I went through that, 40 hours of my time were worth like, what, $3,000 or $4,000 that I put into changing the color on a graphic. I could have easily paid someone $50 to get the whole thing done and get it back to me within a day or two. That was stupid. I will not be stupid because I've learned from that school of hard knocks. That's why I've already started to outsource this logo. And they're gonna do a way better job than I could do anyway because they do it like that's what these people do. So, that's the deal, guys. I'm gonna close out day 13. By the way, it's like the middle of the day. It's like probably by the time this video is done, it's like 11:30 or something a.m. I got up this morning at, well, it's on my phone. I'm taking pictures of when I wake up, and I'm gonna put this movie thing together, and really a movie about commitment, dedication, hard work, focus with a goal and all that. And guys, these aren't to an alarm clock. I'm getting up like when I'm excited. I'm like, dude, I can't wait to go. I can't wait to go see the new items my outsourcer found. I can't wait to go list this item right now. Like, that's what I think my first Amazon item went up yesterday, and I was all pumped up. I got up and I just wanted to list the item that I knew we were gonna list. So I have chills talking about how excited I am about all this stuff happening. So I am off for a bike ride right now, and I just covered everything. So we will see you guys very soon. I thought I was saying something intelligent around day 13 or the timing of today or whatever. I guess not. So I'm gonna go off on a little 30-40 minute bike ride here and have some fun, pour in some good material into my brain. And I'm gonna come back. Hammer time, baby. MC Hammer. If you can't tell, I mix in stuff from the media, media, I'm talking movies, songs, stuff all the time. So I love doing that. I love watching movies. So even though I haven't watched very many lately. So that's it, guys. We will see you guys real soon. Looking forward to reporting back whatever happens in the next hour, next day, next couple days. We'll see you guys real soon. To your ultimate success, God bless. Get out there, take control of your life, go make a positive difference for yourself and all the people in your sphere of influence. Love you guys.